Ala, yung Monday yung nguyayig. Hello, good day everyone. I am Andrea, and you can call me Ati Dre for today. Today, we are about to share you the world of Islamic architecture. So today, guys, I am a half Muslim today. Arabic thing. So, let me start it. And before that, I would like just to remind you that this story that we are about to share with you all, guys, is about the Islam world, and also this would help you to know more about the world of Islamic.
And here with me is Carl. Take it away, Carl.
Everyone, I am Christian Carl Tifrar from Bachelor of Science in Architecture 2D, and I am with Ate Andrea, and we were gonna be discussing and revisiting the history of Islamic architecture, its characteristics, influence, and its building typologies and its distinct parts.
Wow! Change outfit! Okay, again, this tour from Naru team will give you the insights about the Islamic architecture and will give you a wonderful view to see, especially in seeing all of the architectural mosques around the Asias. So let's begin. And before I forgot, this is will be included in the activity later on. So please hope listen everyone. Wow, that's so nice. This one, that one. Wait, nice.
Wow. Haha, sorry about that, guys. I become a dwarf that moment. So, okay, not to take the video anymore. So, listen up and let's start it to tour the mosques or the parts of the Islamic of architecture. So, before that, I have a trivia. It's about our name Naro, because later on this will be out in our activity. So Naro team, from my family name Salvania Naro, so it's Enya, so baka ikaw kay paminaon. So I change it to N and send na. And then Mr. Ferraro for the ro, so Naro. Then I search for the name of the meaning of Naro. So Naro is a earth element, and it's a Mercury is a ruling planet for the name Naro. The name Naro, having moon sign as Virgo, is represented by the Virgin, considered as mutable. One of the sign of the mutable sign is Virgo, which is earth. Okay, now let's start at the Islamic architecture. An architectural style associated with the religion of Islam, and has evolved from various architectural styles like that of Mesopotamians and Romans. As centuries passed, Islamic architecture got influenced by other contemporary styles like Chinese architecture and Mongol architecture. And the influences from the history of Islam. The religion of Islam began in Arabia. 610 AD, Muhammad from Mecca saw a vision of angel. Message from Allah to stop worshipping false idols and to accept the will of God, Islam. Arabs of Mecca rejected his message, and then from 622 AD, the Hegera Muhammad moved to Medina and converted the people into Islam. Within 10 years, the framework of religion and military organization tasked with spreading the faith was established. Medina then fought Mecca and in 630 AD destroys all its idols and converted into Islam. Muhammad died in 632 AD, but his Muslim followers are ready to spread his teaching. Concerted efforts by conquering Arabic tribes to spread Islam. I do believe in this video you know this kind of style of the structure. It's an arc style, right? So this is the beauty of one of the biggest mosque in Abu Dhabi. And now let's take a moment of view for this white building. Okay, fountain. You know this fountain? They call this fawara. It's a very nice fountain around the courtyard inside a mosque. So now we're about to go inside in the one of the mosques. Here you can see a lot of um, Islamists or even tourists are going there to visit. The view, not just for of course, the religion is there, but most especially it's so attracted, the elements, the styles, the designs that was mixed, especially now in the modern. See that, guys? So stunning view from the mosque around it. And this one is the inside of the art, inside the mosque. The design, the details, as you can see, there are lots of parts of the mosque actually. There is sun, cloistered or arcaded courtyard is a fundamental features. It is in the outside. As you can see a while ago, we're about to going inside to the mosque. Outside of that is the courtyard, and they call it the sun, SAHN, sun. And then also they have a lounge enclosed a metal or wooden screen. Call it the maksura. And this part is the E1, open fronted porch facing a court. Yeah, this part is the E1. They call it the E1. And that's amazing wide, huge windows around the inside of the mosque. They also have this niche oriented towards Mecca. They call it the Merab. And the inside also here, chandeliers, as you can see. It's all, oh my God, it's so amazing. I'm, s- I am so mesmerized with the designs that they is able to mix it together. It's so very pleasing to the eyes. Here are the kalapating mababa ang lipad. Sorry for that, guys. Haha. Okay, I'm laughing to myself now. And now this is the night vision or the night view here in one of the mosques. So later on, I will share to you more on the most top beautiful mosques around the Asias. So here, I
In
will let
Islamic culture,
the new
geometry
narrator
is
share to
everywhere.
you
You
about
can find it in
the
mosques,
more on the
madrasas,
designs.
palaces,
So
and
let
private
us hear
homes.
him.
This tradition began in the 8th century CE, during the early history of Islam, when craftsmen took pre-existing motifs from Roman and Persian cultures and developed them into new forms of visual expression. This period of history was a golden age of Islamic culture, during which many achievements of previous civilizations were preserved and further developed, resulting in fundamental advancements in scientific study and mathematics. Accompanying this was an increasingly sophisticated use of abstraction and complex geometry in Islamic art, from intricate floral motifs adorning carpets and textiles to patterns of tilework that seemed to repeat infinitely, inspiring wonder and contemplation of eternal order. Despite the remarkable complexity of these designs, they can be created with just a compass to draw circles and a ruler to make lines within them. And from these simple tools emerges a kaleidoscopic multiplicity of patterns. So how does that work? Well, everything starts with a circle. The first major decision is, how will you divide it up? Most patterns split the circle into 4, 5, or 6 equal sections, and each division gives rise to distinctive patterns. There's an easy way to determine whether any pattern is based on 4-fold, 5-fold, or 6-fold symmetry. Most contain stars surrounded by petal shapes. Counting the number of rays on a starburst, or the number of petals around it, tells us what category the pattern falls into. A star with 6 rays, or surrounded by 6 petals, belongs in the 6-fold category. One with 8 petals is part of the 4-fold category, and so on. There's another secret ingredient in these designs, an underlying grid. Invisible but essential to every pattern, the grid helps determine the scale of the composition before work begins, keeps the pattern accurate, and facilitates the invention of incredible new patterns. Let's look at an example of how these elements come together. We'll start with a circle within a square and divide it into 8 equal parts. We can then draw a pair of crisscrossing lines and overlay them with another 2. These lines are called construction lines, and by choosing a set of their segments, we'll form the basis of our repeating pattern. Many different designs are possible from the same construction lines, just by picking different segments. And the full pattern finally emerges when we create a grid with many repetitions of this one tile, in a process called tessellation. By choosing a different set of construction lines, we might have created this pattern, or this one. The possibilities are virtually endless. We can follow the same steps to create 6-fold patterns. By drawing construction lines over a circle divided into 6 parts and then tessellating it, we can make something like this. Here's another 6-fold pattern that has appeared across the centuries and all over the Islamic world, including Marrakesh, Agra, Konya, and the Alhambra. 4-fold patterns fit in a square grid, and 6-fold patterns in a hexagonal grid. 5-fold patterns, however, are more challenging to tessellate because pentagons don't neatly fill a surface. So instead of just creating a pattern in a pentagon, other shapes have to be added to make something that is repeatable, resulting in patterns that may seem confoundingly complex but are still relatively simple to create. Also, tessellation is not constrained to simple geometric shapes, as M.C. Escher's work demonstrates. And while the Islamic geometric design tradition doesn't tend to employ elements like fish and faces, it does sometimes make use of multiple shapes to craft complex patterns. This more than 1,000-year-old tradition has wielded basic geometry to produce works that are intricate, decorative, and pleasing to the eye. And these craftsmen prove just how much is possible with some artistic intuition, creativity, dedication, and a great compass and ruler.
لبيك اللهم لبيك
لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك والملك. Hi, so we think that is all for our discussion about the history of the Islamic architecture. And thank you for listening, and we appreciate your time and effort for watching this video, and we do hope that you learned something about in this video. Once again, thank you.